Beginner's Guide to CB Radio. Video 1, The Radio.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Paul, Mike 0, Whiskey November Uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 if you catch me on 11 metres and PMR 446. So, today, this is the first of a series of videos I'm going to be doing on basically the Beginner's Guide to CB Radio. So obviously I'm going to start with the first part of it, which will be indeed the radio. So I've got a selection of radios on the bench here, and I'll bring the camera in so you can have a look. Okay, so I've got three radios here. The first one is a Thunderpole T800. It's pretty much a very basic set. It's not complicated, got nothing fancy on it at all. So you've got your power and volume control here. That's all that does, is power and volume. This next one is called RF gain. What that does is if you turn it all the way to there, then only strongest signals can be heard. But if you turn it further towards the other side, then what that's going to do then is bring in the weaker signals as well. So if the person you're talking to is mobile and they get further and further away, you can turn that up and you should still be able to hear them for a bit further. Now, the next one's quite important. This one's called squelch. What this does is when the receiver's receiving nothing, you'll hear that. But if you turn the squelch control, it'll cut that noise out and then you don't have to listen to it, because that would be just unbearable. So the switch here, labelled channel 9, is your emergency channel, which is channel 9. And the calling channel, which is channel 19. 14 used to be used as a calling channel as well, but it's mostly 19 now. So we've got another switch here. I've just got to move this wire out of the way so you can see it. This one's labelled AMEU. We've got 80 channels available to us here in the UK. In the lower position, it's in the UK set of channels. And in the upper position, it's in the European set of channels. So that radio will come set up ready for the UK. All you have to do is connect an aerial and power, which I will cover both of those in later videos. So the next radio to look at is the Moonraker Micro. It's another one that I think would be good for a beginner. It's quite simple, doesn't have a lot on it, although everything's done by push button on the front here, apart from channel change, which is done on the microphone, which is this microphone. So if you want to change a channel, say to channel 20, which is where the other radio is at the moment, you'd use a microphone. So same sort of thing. Squelch adjustment on this is done by pressing the button and then using the buttons on the microphone. AF does exactly what you would probably expect it to do, go between the UK and European channels. So that's just gone through those like that. RF gain, now this works opposite to the RF gain on this. The higher that number, only the strongest signals can be heard. So on this radio, I would advise keeping that turned off. This is your emergency channel 9, calling channel 19, then back to where you were. So quite ideal. And then finally, another set I think would be good for a beginner. The P&I Escort HP 7120. Same sort of thing, except all the controls are actually on the front, although you can do most of it from the microphone as well. So I'll put it onto channel 20 for you using these up-down buttons. So again, emergency 9, calling 19, back to that. RF gain works exactly the same as it does on the radio below. So I'd advise keeping it turned off on this. Squelch control, press the button and make the adjustment with those. AF goes through the European channels and the UK channels. So these two don't come set on the UK channels from the factory or from the supplier. So on this one, you turn it off, then you turn it on, you select whichever country you're in our case the UK. And then it should be in the UK mode. The instruction book does tell you how to do that. And again, with this radio, same thing. Press the AF button, turn it on, and it will put it into the programming mode. And what you would do is you would select the country you're in, turn it off, turn it back on again. The instructions are, again, in the user manual for that radio. So these are 3 sets I think are perfect for the beginner. So nothing complicated, very simple, very basic, nothing really there that would be too complicated. The only thing you've got to do with these 2 is set them up to work in the UK, and full instructions to do that are supplied in the manuals that come with the radios. Now on this one, although it comes already for the UK, you can set it up so that, put it into the programming mode. So put this one as the programming mode, push and hold down, and the push to talk button on the microphone, which I'll cover in a moment, to turn it on. But we don't need to do that because we're already in the UK, and that radio came set up for the UK. So how do you talk to somebody on it? So you come to the microphone, looks a bit like this. Let's bring it into focus. This is actually from my T3000. The one that came with the T800 is actually on the T3000 because this one was giving me some problems. So what you do is the button on the side. I'll just bring it back in so I can show you this. So I press that now. That radio is now transmitting. I've set it up so that it's got something to transmit into, because what you must never do is transmit with no aerial connected. So what if you don't have an ability to use these? Say you're having a walkabout. Now there is an answer to that. Handheld CBs have existed since legalisation of the Citizen band in the UK. This is a modern one. This is a Midland Allen 42 multi. It is discontinued, but it does have a direct replacement of the Midland Allen 42 DS. Now, handheld CBs aren't known to be cheap, but they are alright if you're a beginner, because although they've got a few extra buttons on, it's still got the main controls that you need, such as the channel change, which is on the side above the transmit button. The squelch controls on the top, along with the volume controller. The knob on this isn't the original knob. That had to be changed because the original knob disintegrated. So I'll put that to one side. Now it comes with this antenna. I will cover these more in the antennas video, which I will be doing a little bit later on. So, as I said, handhelds have been around since the 80s. This is a version of a CB handheld from the 80s. This is a realistic TRC 1007. This was sold by Tandy back in the 80s. I think this one dated from 1987, if I remember my Tandy date codes. Again, it's very simple to operate. You've got your channel changer, you've got your squelch, you've got your volume, and you've got your transmit button on the side, which is all you need. This has got a telescopic antenna, and you must not transmit unless that is fully extended, or you have an external antenna plugged in, which you can do on the side here. I'm not sure you can get a connector for that, but I think you might be able to find those online if you search far enough. Now this does have a couple of drawbacks, apart from that telescopic antenna, which on some examples on eBay is broken, so makes the radio completely useless. It takes 10 rechargeable batteries or 8 throwaway batteries. And that's quite a lot of batteries. This has only got 8 rechargeables in it, or 6 throwaways. It's got a separate box for that. So they have come on a bit since the 1980s, but I do like this realistic. It's got that retro charm to it, and it does actually work quite well. Now, because of its age, it does have a handy feature on it. You could just switch that to the low power setting, So you can conserve battery or put it in the high power setting for full output, which means it will get you a bit further, but it will drain the batteries quicker as well, although it'll tell you when the batteries are running out because it's got a battery low indicator. So I'm not going to transmit on that because the telescopic is currently retracted. So this does have a low power setting on it. So this will also work to save batteries, and that's actually a very useful feature to have on a handheld. Now, as I said, the modern handhelds come with this. I will discuss that more in the antennas video, and as well as the telescopic that's fitted to the realistic here, which you can see just there. So that's basically it. These are all simple, easy to operate CB radio sets. You don't need anything fancy. All you need is your volume control. This RF gain control is optional, but it's best to have that turned to full on the Thunderpole T800. You've got your squelch control, you've got your emergency and calling channel switch, and you've got your UK channels and European channels. So, very simple. They all come with microphone. That's the one on the Thunderpole. That's the one from the PNI. And this is the one from the Moonraker. In some cases, the microphone can be very, very basic on some sets with only the transmitter button. I will bring one of those up. I do have one. Just knock a box of things over while I'm doing it. This is the microphone for the TTI TCB 550. It's just the transmitter button on the side. I can press this confident because although I've got my TCB 550 switched on, this isn't actually plugged into it. So that's all that's on that microphone, nothing else. So if you want a really simple radio, the TTI TCB 550 is a good choice because all it has on it is channels, volume and squelch, and UK, EU and emergency channel. That's all it's got. So that's another good choice for a beginner radio. So I hope that's been enlightening. I'm not sure if it has. So I'll try my best. I'm not very good at explaining things, as you probably can tell. But, you know, these are all, I consider all of these to be good beginners sets. And this realistic handheld is good for beginners as well because it only has the 40 UK channels in it, so you can't go wrong. But as long as when you buy these off eBay, you buy them with an intact telescopic antenna like that, because they're no good if the telescopic antenna is broken. These are alright for beginners as well, but they are expensive. So if you're looking for something on a budget, this Moonraker is a good start. This PNI Escort HP7120, though it does come with an antenna, you'd have to buy one that you can actually use on the UK set of frequencies because the one that comes with it doesn't quite work on them. So, yeah, I hope that's been informative, and I'll catch you in the next part of the CB Radio for Beginner series, which I'm hoping is going to be on the power supply. I'll have to look that up there. Yeah, the next video will be looking at the power supply. That is, how do you power your radio once you have it? So, I'll give you a sneak peek. It's that there. So, that's a preview of the next video. So, 7.3 for now, guys, or as they say on CB, 10.10 till we do it again. I'll explain that in the terminology video. I'll catch you in the next one.